Anyway, so you see the next slide, how to select a keywords. You can have neologism. Normally, for beginners, we don't suggest for this kind of neologism. Neologism is only there when you are expert, you have done lots of job. And neologism is something innovative, something new. Means you introduce this word, and before this, there was no such kind of word was there in the literature. But this is not for the beginner. For you, what is the most important thing is high volume, means something that is like a most common. For example, moderated mediation, mediated moderation, artificial neural network, fuzzy set, all those kind of technical things. Because high volume is anyone is going to conduct a research, they say moderated mediation, mediated moderation. So this is the word that everyone is searching. So it's high volume search. So if you use in these words in three places, either in your title, or in your abstract, or third place is your keyword. So this is the three places where you have to use these keywords. And if you have used this one, then definitely people will search. And once they will search, the Google will show them those papers. So you can use high volume keywords, 1, 2, 3, or 2, 2, 3, and then your main research idea, what exactly you are doing. For example, I said food blogger. So food blogger should be there because you are talking about the whole story is the food blogger. So how come you cannot use food blogger as the keyword? So keyword, two to four keywords from your main central theme, whatever the topic that you are working, 2 or 3 keywords you can use as a high volume keywords, the technical terms, and then 1 or 2 keywords you can use if you are convinced that this is something brand new and nobody has used. You can try this one. Nobody knows that you can develop something and the later people will use that kind of thing. And this is what the overall picture is there. Nothing much is there, but please remember one thing, that every journal has its own guidelines. So some journals say 5 keywords, some journals say 6, some journals say 7. Depending upon those keywords, you can use. Whenever you are using the keywords, not necessarily one word is keyword. Keyword can be one full, like for example, lots of people say partial least square structural equation modeling. This is 6 words, but because you are saying this is one thing, that's why it is counted as one thing. So research suggests that if you're using a keyword as a single word, it will have a less impact. Preferably use 2 or 3 words in a combination. For example, moderated mediation, mediated moderation. It's 2 words. When you say only mediation, it's not effective. But when you say moderated mediation or mediated moderation, it will be effective. When you are writing ANN, instead of ANN, you can write artificial neural network. Because when you are writing artificial neural network, if anyone is searching artificial, your paper will be shown. If they are showing neural, then your paper will be shown. Network, your paper will be shown. And of course, artificial neural network they are searching, of course, it will be shown. So you can use the tricks. Instead of using one single word as a keyword, you can use a combination of 2 to 3 words as a keyword. Of course, you have to find from the literature. It's not like that you're going to discover this kind of thing. You need to find something from the literature. See what other people have done, how they have written in the research paper that you are reading for your literature review purpose. And accordingly, you can do that one. Anyway. Now, the most important thing that what was the today's agenda was the introduction part. So what exactly we are going to do in the introduction, the most important section, especially from the reviewer point of view. I'm repeating this word only from the reviewer point of view. After this, when it comes to once your paper is published, the most important part of your paper is implication part. Because mostly people are going to see what you did, like a methodology part, the discussion part, result part, and basically the implication part. So industry people are more interested in implication part, and academics are more interested in your result and discussion part. The rest, nobody is really caring, about your introduction and the literature review, because this is very mechanical and a routine business is there. Nobody is interested. But for the process, the review process, introduction is the super critical part. Without this, you cannot even survive. So the most important section is there. Most of the readers read the first few paragraphs and decide to read further or not, So that's why it's very critical. You should always write later in your research process. So initially you can create a draft and later you can write the full, the document. You must include research objective, research gap, and contribution of the study. So when I started, I said that, you have to write your research objective, research gap, and of course, contribution. Now, how you can write this kind of thing? So initially you write a tentative, like a draft introduction to direct your study. Later, once you finish your study, then you can revise it and rewrite it completely. So that's what generally we do. Like you write in the beginning first, and then every time you complete, like you complete your literature review, you found something meaningful like a gap and a contribution part, you come back and you write in your draft section. Like you have written your methodology part, you found something meaningful, you can add in this one. Discussion part, you found something, you can add this one, because contribution is what? Contribution is the result. Like you propose the choice complexity moderates the relationship, and that's why people are buying more meal option compared to the a la carte. That is what your contribution is, because in the literature nothing is written about this. So from where you learn that this is contribution? You learn contribution from your analysis part. So every chapter you complete, you will get some spices to spice up your introduction part. So bring some bits and pieces of information from every single chapter, and then finally you summarize the whole story. Generally, it should be written between 2 to 4 pages, double space. That's what the review process is asking for. A typical introduction should have the following two components: a brief background of the story, that is storytelling. Storytelling is a must. If you're not writing in a form of a story, it's difficult job. It's not easy job, but this is required. Ideal length is 2 to 4 paragraph. Then next is the research gap. And then you write your purpose and objective. And then finally you write the contribution part. Okay, now once we write this introduction part, storytelling part, don't include many complicated terms, technical jargons, or definitions. Normally, if you read a reasonably good research paper, like in a first paragraph, you will find hardly 2, 3 citation. There is no need for citation, because you are creating an ambience, you are creating an atmosphere where people can find something meaningful. So not necessarily that you need to write so many citation and story from here and there. You can create your own story, your own idea. So in a first paragraph, there is nothing required that you need to write so many citation and the technical word. It should be as simple as that. So anyone who's reading can find some meaningful information. Yes, of course, when you are claiming something, when you are quoting something, definitely you have to add the citation, because any claim, anything that you are saying that this is the pure information is there, without citation, nobody will accept that one. Okay, keep it as simple as possible. Preferably add some recent industry data to support your story. Now, industry data from where? Like, e-marketers are there, like lots of, online consultancy agencies are there, like Ernst and Young, Price and Cooper, BCG, and all those, international bigger agencies. You can find some meaningful information from there. And then Stata, many. Like there are, like the moment you start reading, you will find that there are many such kind of databases are there, those who are publishing results on a regular basis. So you can get some meaningful information and add them. When you are adding, definitely you need to cite from where you got this meaningful information. Plus, one big trouble is there that when you are writing this particular section, don't cite anything more than 1 year old, especially in the introduction part, and especially in terms of a data. Like when I review a paper and they're saying it is estimated that by the year 2025, the demand will be this much. Baba, we are already in the 2025. You are saying the 2022 to 2025. Why? You are submitting a paper in 2025. Your projections should be there for 26, 27, or 28. Why 25? It shows that you have not done your job seriously. You simply used basic research and basic, searching tools, and you simply just collected the basic data without taking a pain to find out some real meaningful information. So when you are doing this one, it means this is something problematic, So make sure that when you are writing this kind of thing, see, this is very small thing, but it gives an impression to the reviewer that you are not careful. So when you are writing, make sure that you do every single thing to get a most updated data, preferably what published in last 1 year and last 6 months kind of thing. Next, research gap. research gap, before you write the research gap, you have to write one full paragraph that tells that what other people have done in that particular topic. That paragraph is reasonable, good paragraph, something like 150 to 200 words, not a small paragraph. First, you have to give a complete background of the literature. Then the next paragraph will say, however, start from however, and then say that yes, previously this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 has been done. However, these 1, 2, 3 are missing. And out of these 1, 2, 3 are missing, I'm going to address 1 or 2, and then this is research gap. And then you have to give the justification that why you believe that this is important, that you have to write in the introduction section. Because if you are not writing this thing, there is always a question, so what? So what means that, okay, there is a research gap. So what I should do? Why I should focus on this one? So you have to give a reason, you have to give a valid justification that why you selected this one, and so on. And after that, definitely you have to go back to the methodology part. You have to say, to address this research gap, you use 1, 2, 3, 4 method to collect data, analyze, blah, 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 blah. And finally, this is the findings are there, and these findings are going to bridge the gap, what is available in the literature and what the gap is there. Okay, and finally, you have to write some kind of significance of your finding. Don't write everything here in the introduction section. Why? Because if you write everything in introduction section, it will be too big. Because definitely you will have significant section in the end of the research paper. So every research paper after the discussion, we have implication section, theoretical and practical implication. At least 3 to 4 theoretical and 3 to 4 practical implication is a must when you are writing a reasonable good research paper. So don't write everything what is going to write there. Just select any 1 or 2, the most important one, because this section is a brief section. So select any 1 or 2, preferably 1. But if you have many good things, then at least you can highlight 2, but don't take more than 2, because otherwise it will be too lengthy. Write this one, write in 2 or 3 sentences, but please remember that whenever you are writing, there should be some examples. Explain that how this is important. But just by saying that this is important is not important. You have to say that this is important and how this is important. So give at least a brief example, means 3 to 4 line maximum, but it should be there. That is what creates a difference in a average writing and an excellent writing. Average writing, people say, this is my contribution. Excellent writing people, they write, plus they also explain the mechanism, how, in action verbs, how this is going to work. And that makes a difference, because sometimes your contribution, like if I say choice complexity moderates the relationship between X and Y, enough. Okay, I understand. Technically, I'm a sound person, I understand. But for many people who are not technically qualified and understand this interaction, for them it's just a sentence. You have to say that what exactly this meaning is. So you can say that if you have a simple options, then the chances are there that customers will buy more, because this is what the complexity is less. And when complexity is more, people find it difficult to select the option, then they go for the meal option instead of going for the a la carte option. So you have to explain in a proper way in a 2 to 3 sentences. That makes life easy for the people who are reading your manuscript, and they will understand it. And that's what makes the difference. So whenever you are writing, in a communication, we always say communication should be simple and sweet. Keep short and simple, and it should be sweet. Why? And always write from the receiver point of view. So when you are writing, always think that those who are reading, whether they will be able to understand what you are trying to say or not. If not, then try to expand it, explain it more, simple language. You can use it in a way that people can understand. That's it. So you can write implication section, theoretical implication 1 or 2, practical implication 1 or 2, and that's it. If you write this one, then your whole process will be complete. And now after this, you have to revise it. So initially when we write something like, if it is 4 page, we write like a 5.5 or 6 page. Then we come back, we do the revision 1 and 2 times. Then we ask somebody other than you who can review your document, because many times what happens when you are writing this kind of thing, you conceptualize the idea, you are writing. So even though there are mistakes are there, but you will not find the mistake. Why? Because whenever you are reading, your idea is there, you have the whole story in your mind, so you automatically understand what exactly this sentence is saying. The moment other person is going to read your document, they will say, what do you mean by this? Why? Because they don't have any background of your research, so they will have many questions, and that is where the clarity will come. So whenever you have written this any particular section of your research paper, try to find out some good trusted people. You know, trusted, why I say trusted, because there is always a risk is there that if you are giving your document to somebody, and if they copy your ideas and they misuse it, so that is another issue is there. So you need to find out some trusted people, and those who are qualified, those who knows what exactly should be there in this kind of thing. Ask them to read and ask them to comment, and then see that whether they are able to understand, whether they are able to follow what you are saying, or if not, then you can ask for their comments. They will read their comments, improve them, revise them, and then again review them, because it's a good idea that you can do revision 5 times before your submission, compared to that you submit a draft version of your paper and then your paper is simply rejected because they say that inconsistency in your language and blah 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 blah. So it's always good that you need to make sure that your paper is 100% correct, complete, and then you submit to the journal. Don't submit anything half cooked, because half cooked is always a problem is there. So that is all about in the introduction section. There is nothing is there. Now, the important thing is there that Vivek asked me to add one more extra information. That is your research question. Now, please remember the research question part will come from your model. So let me see limitations. So research question, you see this diagram. Your research questions will come from here. So research question, like, when you had idea, like when I say the food bloggers, and I'm saying that order intention, ordering food uh, online using food blogger information. Now, one of the criteria for me is that uh, maybe that food blogger is showing a food that is very authentic recipe, authentic food, like, in Rajasthan, in many places, there are lots of small home kitchens are there, those who are cooking a recipe that is 400, 500-year old, because everyone is eating, Mughlai and Chinese and all those kind of things, but we are away from the traditional food, like traditional food, how they are cooked in a different kind of utensils and different kind of temperature environment and all those kind of things. So quite possible that you are a lover of authentic food, or quite possible you trust that blogger and you believe that the blogger is saying something is actually true. So when you are coming to the research question, your research question is all about your model. So your research question is there that whether food influencer characteristics affect online ordering of the food. And now when you are saying food bloggers characteristics, it includes trustworthiness, attraction, number of followers, reviews, and all those kind of things. Second question can be there, whether authentic food recipe encourages people to order food. So whatever your research questions are there, research questions will come from your research model. Like, for example, this is your research model. Like, see this one. This is your research model. Or simple one, you can see this is the research model. If I have this idea in my mind, like brand betrayal, and I'm saying that those people who are betrayed by the brand, they are basically going to speak negatively. This is very human, very natural. Like, you go to any particular restaurant and you had a bad quality food, definitely you're going to say negative thing about that. So there is nothing new. So what you said, that you are saying that what is the how the brand betrayal is going to impact brand avoidance, vindictive negative word of mouth, and vindictive complaining. So your research questions and research objectives are interrelated. Your research objectives are there that how brand betrayal is going to have the negative consequences on the consumer behavior, and from that particular research objective you can have 2 or 3 research questions. Please remember, don't add many research questions. Preferably 3 to 5 is the maximum number. Ideally is 2 to 3. 2 to 3 is the best one. But if you have more, you can add 4 or 5, but don't go beyond this one. And if you have more, then you can do what? You can combine them. For example, I said food blogger characteristics. Instead of saying trustworthiness, attractiveness, blah, 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 I added 4 or 5 questions together, and I simply said whether the food blogger characteristics affect, and khalas, story finish kind of thing, and you can add that particular thing. So when you are adding this kind of thing, it gives, but not necessarily every research paper in the top journals, they are asking for the research question. They simply ask your research objective. So whenever you are writing a research question and a research objective, please make sure that when you are doing your literature review, I can tell you one story. How many of you are comfortable with Hindi?
Majority, sir.
Majority.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Pa Palchen. Yeah, Palchen, you are saying something? Palchen is saying something?
No, sir, I'm good, sir.
Okay, very good. Let me tell you a Hindi story in a Hindi. I don't know whether this story is authentic story or a cooked story, but I heard multiple time, and I like this story. So story is all about, that एक टाइम में अकबर, एक बार अकबर के दरबार में कई मंत्री थे, और तो एक मंत्री को सैलरी ज्यादा मिलती थी. आई थिंक दैट दिस इज अ फिक्सिशियस स्टोरी, बट दैट टेल्स द होल मीनिंग ऑफ द रिसर्च. सो अकबर के दरबार में कई मंत्री थे. एक मंत्री को ज्यादा सैलरी मिलता था, और बाकी के 3 4 मंत्री ऐसे थे उनको सैलरी कम मिलता था. एक बार जो 3 4 मंत्री थे जिनकी सैलरी कम थी, एक बार वो अकबर के पास गए और बोले कि जहां पना हम लोग हम लोग काम तो पूरा करते हैं, पूरे टाइम पे आते हैं, पूरे टाइम पे रहते हैं, सब कुछ पूरा सही से काम करते हैं, फिर भी हमें सैलरी कम क्यों मिलती है और इनको सैलरी ज्यादा क्यों मिलती है. अकबर ने बोला जानना चाहते हो कि क्यों मिलती है? तो बोला हाँ साहब जानना चाहते हैं. बोला ठीक है कोई बात नहीं, कल आना, कल इसका हम तुमको रीजन बताएंगे, तुम लोगों को कम क्यों मिलती है और इसको ज्यादा क्यों मिलती है. उसके बाद अकबर ने एक सीन क्रिएट किया कि एक डॉग थी, फीमेल डॉग, उसने डिलीवर किया था बेबी, 3 4 5 बेबी डिलीवर किए थे. तो वो एक जगह पे रखवा दिया वो अकबर ने. और फिर उनमें से सारे लोगों को बुलाया, अलग अलग उन सबको एक साथ बुलाया, बोला कि एक बार बाहर जाके देख के आओ कि एक डॉग है उसने बेबी डिलीवर किया, देख के आओ कि कितने बेबीज हैं. तो वो गए, देख करके आए. उसके बाद उसने पूछा कि इसमें से कितने मेल एंड फीमेल. तो एक बार वो देख करके आए तो उन्होंने पूछा कि कितने हैं, तो उन्होंने बोला साहब 4 हैं. एक सवाल दोनों से एक ही साथ पूछा गया, तो 3 4 जो कम सैलरी वाले थे और जो एक जिसके पास सैलरी ज्यादा थी, उसको दोनों को एक ही साथ पूछा था. बट जो कम सैलरी वाले थे उनको एक एक सवाल पूछा गया कितने बेबी हैं, तो गए देख के आए. कितने बेबी हैं? 4 हैं साहब. कितने मेल फीमेल? पता नहीं साहब. वापस जाए तो वापस गए, वो चारों वापस गए, देख करके आए, फिर बताया साहब 2 फीमेल हैं 2 मेल हैं. ये जब जिसको हाई सैलरी मिलती थी वो वहीं का वहीं बैठा रहा. ऐसे 3 4 सवाल थे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कि कितने मेल एंड फीमेल हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कितने एक ही कलर के हैं, कितने ऐसे हैं जिस स्पॉटेड हैं, जैसे कई डॉग्स होते हैं ना जिसमें ब्लैक व्हाइट अलग अलग कलर के पैचेज होते हैं, एंड सो ऑन. कितने के कान खड़े हैं. 3 4 सिली क्वेश्चन थे. कुल मिला के मकसद ये था, ये जानना कि किसकी ऑब्जर्वेशन पावर ज्यादा है. पहले वाले को जिसको सैलरी ज्यादा मिलती थी उसको एक बार भेजा गया. एक बार भेजने के बाद जब वापस आया तो वो फिर दोबारा नहीं गया, वो एक ही बार में उसने सारा कुछ ऑब्जर्व कर लिया. उससे जो भी सवाल पूछा गया कि भाई कितने थे, 4 मेल फीमेल, दो दो स्पॉटेड, XYZ, सारा उसने एक बार में ऑब्जर्व किया, वापस आया, बैठ गया, उसको जो जो सवाल पूछा गया बताता गया. इनको हर सवाल के लिए वापस जाना पड़ता था, देखना पड़ता था और वापस आना पड़ता था. लास्ट में अकबर ने पूछा अब आपको समझ में आई कि आपको सैलरी क्यों कम मिलती है, इसको ज्यादा क्यों मिलती है. तो उनको समझ में आ गई कि हाँ साहब हमारी ऑब्जर्वेशन पावर वीक है, हम एक ही काम को 5 बार दौड़ दौड़ के करते हैं, टाइम भी बर्बाद करते हैं और काम भी नहीं करते हैं. अगला वाला बंदा एक ही बार में गया, पूरा काम कंप्लीट करके आया और टाइम कम बर्बाद किया. अब वापस आइए, आप इस स्टोरी को समझने की कोशिश करिए रिसर्च में. आपके लिए रिसर्च में जो भी रिसर्च करता है, रिसर्च पेपर लिखता है, उसके लिए जो ये स्टोरी थी, वो स्टोरी थी आपके पास देखने के लिए, सुनने के लिए, समझने के लिए, हर सवाल का जवाब पाने के लिए एक ही सोर्स है, वो है आपका लिटरेचर. आपको लिटरेचर रिव्यू करना है, आपको पेपर पढ़ना है, और उसी पेपर में से ही आपको इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है और उन्हीं एक्सट्रैक्टेड इंफॉर्मेशन को अलग अलग 5 जगहों पे फिक्स करना है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने कहा साहब कि आप इंट्रोडक्शन में भी आपका कुछ ना कुछ पार्ट लिटरेचर का जा रहा है, आपके लिटरेचर रिव्यू में भी जा रहा है कि किसने किसने कहा कि ए रिलेट्स टू बी है, फिर आपके डिस्कशन सेक्शन में भी ये जा रहा है क्योंकि आप बता रहे हो कि आपकी स्टडी 1 2 3 4 से मैच करती है अगर रिपोर्ट सही आती है तो, और अगर रिजेक्ट हो रही है तो आप ये कह रहे हो कि आपकी फाइंडिंग इनके इनसे कंट्राडिक्ट करती है या साथ में जाती है। इम्प्लीकेशन में भी अगर किसी ने अच्छा इम्प्लीकेशन दिया उसको भी आपको साथ में लेके जाना है। तो कहने का मतलब टोटल इतना होता है कि जब कभी भी आप रिसर्च पेपर पे रिव्यू करते हो, आपके पास ये बड़ा क्लियर माइंडसेट होना चाहिए कि हम जब इस पेपर को पढ़ रहे हैं, इसमें से हर वो पॉसिबल इंफॉर्मेशन हमें एक्सट्रैक्ट करनी है जो हमारे रिसर्च पेपर के लिखने के काम आएगी। तो आपको इंट्रोडक्शन पढ़ते वक्त भी देखना कि इसकी स्टोरी लाइन कैसी है, इसने कैसे लिखा है, कौन सा डाटा इसने यूज किया है। ठीक, इसकी डाटा पुराना हो गया, मान लिया इसका डाटा 2 साल पहले का पेपर है, डाटा पुराना हो गया, कहाँ से इसने डाटा लिया था, कौन से सोर्स से लिया था, उस सोर्स पे जाके चेक करो कि क्या लेटेस्ट डाटा अवेलेबल है आज के डेट में। ठीक, तो आप जो कोई भी काम करते हो रिसर्च पेपर राइटिंग में, आपके पास एक ही प्लेस है सब कुछ पाने का, वो है आपका लिटरेचर रिव्यू। तो इसलिए पहले आप स्कैन करो, जितना कुछ भी इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सट्रैक्ट कर सकते हो करो। जब आपके पास 15 20 बेहतरीन पेपर मिल जाएं जो आपके टॉपिक से मैच करते हो, हाई क्वालिटी जर्नल के हो, उसको रिलीजियसली वर्ड बाय वर्ड 2 3 बार पढ़ो। और अगर आप उसको ढंग से पढ़ते हो, डाटा को एक्सट्रैक्ट कर लेते हो, तो पेपर राइटिंग इज नॉट अ बिग जॉब। बिग जॉब ये है कि आपको 20 पेपर मिल जाए, 25 पेपर मिल जाए जो रिसेंट हो, टॉप जर्नल्स के हों, अच्छी क्वालिटी के हों, आपके टॉपिक से मैच करते हों, और फिर आपको लिखना है। लिखना कोई बहुत बड़ा रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है, लगता है दूर से कि रॉकेट साइंस है, बट रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है। इट्स ऑल अबाउट रीडिंग, अंडरस्टैंडिंग, एक्सट्रैक्टिंग, सिंथेसाइजिंग एंड रीराइटिंग। ऑफ कोर्स कॉपी एंड पेस्ट तो हो ही नहीं सकता, क्योंकि आपको पता ही है प्लेजरिज्म है और सारे सॉफ्टवेयर दुनिया में बड़े हुए हैं आपके काम को पकड़ने के लिए, तो वो तो आप कर ही नहीं सकते, वो तो क्राइम है। अगर कर दिया तो फिर आपका कैरियर बर्बाद हो जाएगा। तो वो तो सोचो ही मत कि कॉपी पेस्ट करके कुछ हो सकता है। जो कुछ करना है वो आपको समझ करके और अपने में लिखना है। हाँ, अगर आपकी इंग्लिश बहुत अच्छी नहीं है तो बहुत सारे लोग मार्केट में पड़े हुए हैं जो आपकी इंग्लिश को इम्प्रोवाइज करते हैं। हाँ ठीक, वो पैसे लेते हैं, नो डाउट, कोई भी काम फ्री में नहीं करता, क्योंकि उसके पास टैलेंट है, वो पैसा कमाने के लिए तो काम कर रहा है भाई। तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, अगर आप अगर नहीं अफोर्ड कर सकते हो तो किसी ऐसे कोलेबोरेटर को ढूंढो जो थोड़ा बहुत आपका साथ काम कर सकता हो, जो पैसे खर्च कर सकता हो, और उसको अपने साथ शामिल करो। और उससे कहो भाई फाइनेंशियली तुम सपोर्ट करो, खास करके रिवीजन में, खास करके आपके लैंग्वेज एडिटिंग में एंड सो ऑन। कुल मिला के मॉरल ऑफ द स्टोरी ये है कि आपको पढ़ना पड़ेगा। रीडिंग इज 60% to 70%, राइटिंग इज ओनली 30% इन द होल रिसर्च प्रोसेस। दैट्स एंड विवेक, बाकी का
Yeah.
फ्लोर इज ओपन। इफ एनी वन इज हैविंग एनी क्वेश्चन, फील फ्री टू आस्क मी, आई विल लव टू आंसर योर क्वेश्चन।
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, for your session. We'll take 2 minutes for questions if anybody want to ask any question for this particular session. Whether as of now we are having a session on third day in the last again with you, and in that session I will request all the participants to have their questions ready to ask with Dr. Ansuman Sharma. Right now, if you want to ask any question, please go ahead. We have 2 minutes of time. Other resource person is ready for his class.
Anyone, any question?
Okay. I think
I think
we
Sir, I
Vivek
have one
has.
question.
yeah,
Yes,
please.
madam.
Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity. Sir, I have one question, sir. If I choose a topic where the research and analytical work has not much done, for
Mm-hmm.
example, if I decided to work in cybersecurity in IT, let's say, where the research not much is there for if I go in some topic. So in that case,
Mm-hmm.
how will I follow up with the abstract and the keywords that you are telling that we have to give popular keywords? So in that case, where
Very.
the uh, yes,
I understand, Rosmi, your question. You know, Rosmi, first thing is that like you have a question like a cyber security, okay?
yes, sir.
And anything else in your mind that how cybersecurity is a umbrella term? After cybersecurity, definitely you will have a question like cybersecurity, impact of cybersecurity and something. So what is your next thought in your mind that after what is cybersecurity is umbrella term, like it's like a mango or
Yes, sir.
apple something. So
Yes, sir.
what exactly you want to do with cybersecurity? Like you want to see that what are the regions of the cybersecurity, or what are the weakness of cybersecurity, or what cybersecurity is going to do with terrorism or any XYZ. Definitely, you will have a mindset where you are going to think that impact of cybersecurity and something.
Yes, sir. But like inside cybersecurity, if I go for like deep intelligence, where not much of a research and analysis
Very good.
paper are
Very good. Very good.
published.
Understand. Now, do one thing. Just go on Google Scholar, write cybersecurity inverted comma. Inverted comma. Why? Because if you're not using inverted comma, then cyber is a different word, security is a different word. You will get millions of searches. Write cyber security and close both words with inverted comma. Do one thing, see that the Google Scholar search from last 2 years and see first 2 3 pages. Just dump every single file on your hard disk. Good. Then you can write cybersecurity inverted comma close. I can write in their chat. Okay, chat for everyone. So you can write here like cyber and security. Okay, and inverted comma close. This is your first word. Like you search like this one, and then second time you can do what? You can write cyber security. Okay, close. Then plus, and then you write deep. What you said? Deep learning, deep
Yes, sir.
intelligence.
Deep intelligence
What? Deep
and
intelligence. Okay, now you can close this one and you search like this one, deep in cybersecurity plus deep intelligence. Now Google will search, is there anything published with cybersecurity plus deep intelligence? And then you can dump another, the first 2 pages, like 20, 30 files, and then you can scan them. Once you are scanning, you will read the title, you will read the little bit abstract, like you can scan in 2 minute job. Once you will scan, you will get lots of ideas that what other people are doing on cybersecurity. So if you like something, say for example, you scan 40 files in 1 hour time, you scanned those 40 files, and from those 40 files you like 2 or 3 files, which one is appealing to you, like you find something interesting. Now stop yourself and read the title, the abstract, the keywords, and read the introduction part of that paper. See that is there anything meaningful, and I'm 100% sure after reading 2 or 3 you will get some more meaningful information, and you will get some more meaningful keywords. Go back again on Google Scholar and again search for those new keywords, again download some files, scan those kind of thing, and then slowly maybe if you do this kind of job for 1 2 or 3 days, I'm 100% sure by end of the 3 day you will get really something meaningful that is interesting for you, that is meaningful for you. Now you have to read those 4 5 6 10 papers in a quick manner, get some meaningful information, and then you proceed further.
okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Any other question?
Yeah. Sir, we'll start the next session.
Yeah,
The next
yeah. Okay.
expert is ready, and we'll squeeze the time. Sir, we will have a 15 minutes quite lengthy question and answer session, and the last of the session, last day of the session for this workshop. So I will
Yeah,
request
perfectly.
you on that day.
I
Thank you very
I
much,
will
sir,
be there. I will be there.
for your
So
session. And yes, sir.
I will log out then, Vivek.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, and see you
Thank you,
soon
dear.
again. We'll talk again.
See
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay. Thank you, dear. Thank you.